Girl, if I had known there was a playbook the entire time, I think I would have paid more, like closer attention. I have got to share with you guys what I have been studying for the past 2 days. It's freaking insane. And I just can't believe it. So here I was thinking, oh, once we get the 4-year cycle down pat, that's really all that we need to worry about. But it's so much bigger. It's so much freaking bigger. So here's what I've been studying: the 5 phases of wealth transfer. And you need to pay attention, okay? Especially if you're someone who is building wealth for your family. You strategize as it relates to money and you like planning, setting yourself up for the future. Let me show you what they do. So it's 5 phases. Phase one is the bubble. Okay, that's easy money conditions. Asset prices inflate during this period. People like the middle class buy at all-time highs. The wealthy starts to sell at this point in time, between 12 and 18 months, and they start building their cash position. So while we're out there buying, they're selling and preparing for the crash, right? So phase two is tightening. I can remember the tightening phase of the last cycle. It was at the end of 2021. The Federal Reserve announced they were going to start increasing interest rates after it had been like zero forever. But anyway, in 2022, we felt it. I'll tell you guys a whole story about that later if you want to know. But for right now, let me just get to these notes. So tightening. The Fed raises interest rates like in 2022 from 0 to 5%, the fastest it's ever increased, right? And it says money becomes more expensive. People are refinancing at higher rates. So asset prices stop rising during this period. Euphoria phase. The middle class buys the dip, averaging on the way down. You know how they always say buy the dip? Well, sometimes it's good if you just have like a one-pronged strategy. You don't have time to really manage your money. Maybe that's okay. But when you know how the system works, you can set yourself up better. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, getting back to the notes. So then it says that the wealthy put on short positions during this time. So I think we're going through that right now. If you hadn't noticed, Bitcoin keeps going down and down and down. And there are whales or people with deep pockets who are playing the market and they're shorting. They're shorting, which is why the price goes down. And when they're shorting, they're making money, building cash positions. And they're buying insurance during this time as well. Okay, now phase three is the crash. This is when something breaks. So banks fail, companies go bankrupt, crisis erupts. We have cascading failures all over the place. Markets will crash between 30, 40, and 50%. Real estate plummets. Credit freezes up, so it's really hard to access the credit markets at this point in time. Banks stop lending. Middle class gets margin called. So if you're a trader and you have positions on and you all of a sudden get a margin call because the value of your collateral has decreased, watch out for that. Okay, there's forced liquidations during this period. The middle class is forced to sell at lower prices, and you know who's buying? The wealthy, the ones who built their cash positions in phase one. Okay, phase four is the transfer. The middle class is selling everything. The wealthy buys everything at rock bottom prices, guys. Foreclosures, they're buying foreclosed homes at like 30 to 50% discounts. Private equity firms are buying homes in bulk, basically. Stocks are 50 to 60% off their highs, and a lot of y'all are afraid to buy when it's like that, and I would be too. Don't get me wrong. No one really wants to buy when the cash is low and your job is questionable, but just recognize where we are in the phase. You know what I mean? Because we can better prepare. So moving on, distressed businesses for pennies on the dollar. This is what the wealthy is buying, and they get to dictate the terms because they're the only one with capital. Okay. So this is the transfer. It's when wealth is moving from forced sellers to buyers with capital. And yeah, so they're getting assets at generationally low prices, and they tend to hold from 5 to 10 years. They're not trying to make quick flips. They're trying to get the biggest bang for their buck. Okay. Phase 5 is recovery. In the recovery, that's when the Fed steps in. They intervene, they start pumping liquidity into the markets, they drop rates to near zero. I'm realizing that in the crypto market, this is what we're waiting on. We're waiting on phase 5 recovery. We know that the Fed has to step in eventually, but they haven't yet. Why? This time may be different. Instead of just sitting there waiting on a recovery, we could be like playing each step in each phase, preparing better, But anyway, QE, which is quantitative easing, the Fed turns on a money printer, and it says that the Fed is buying bonds and securities, money flows into asset prices, and then stocks recover, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We got some more information over here. It's basically saying that the middle class never really recovers because they sold their assets at bottom prices, and they never recover from that because they're always trying to catch up from there. So we got to get to a place to where we can hold our assets and we don't have to sell. We don't have to be forced to sell. And how do we get there? So don't use a lot of leverage. Do not do that. Pay down your debt. Just position better, guys. This was so freaking interesting to me. I love talking about money and strategy. I love trying to find ways to position me and my family for wealth. This is a hobby for me. So if you found this, and if you're still watching, I know it must be a hobby for you too. You're on the right side of TikTok. So like and follow, and let me know what you think about this wealth transfer system that's set up to extract wealth from the middle class and give it to the rich. I don't want to say give it to the rich. The rich are just better prepared. They know the rule book. They know how to play it, and we just don't. So, but we're gonna change that, right? We're gonna change that.